It is Saturday, the 25th of November 2022. A very warm welcome to the channel. And today we're talking about buying and renting here in Cambodia and also Thailand. Now, I've been in Cambodia for about 8 years. I've lived in Asia near enough for about 30 years. And basically, this is where I found my money, and I was able to retire with a small retirement for anyhow, regardless of that. What I'm going to show you is some properties that we looked at, or my lovely partner Sophie looked at, or earlier this year, I think it was, while I have a chat about it. Now, renting, first of all, I would highly recommend that you rent for 3, 4, 5 years. And if it's in your pension and you have a guaranteed pension until you until you die, then do the rent, because it gives you the opportunity to move. And rent can be anywhere between $300 to $500. You can get cheaper, but you want a certain level of, you could say, Western comfort. And there's so many places you can find. You can go to property agents like here, like IPS, and they can show you around. And this is exactly what Sophie and the agent did, just to make the video that I made earlier this year. You can do exactly the same in Thailand. Maybe in Thailand, in some places it can be more expensive. It can be a little bit cheaper. It depends on your style of living and what you can afford. But you've got to put into consideration things like your electric, which is going to be like $100 extra. Your food, what food are you going to eat? Are you going to cook, or are you going to buy the street food, or are you going to go to restaurants every day, or are you going to get a delivery, or 5-star cuisine, whatever. You've got to put that into account, along with your medical, transportation. What else do you need? Your internet connection, your water, sometimes your bottles of gas, etc., etc. Your mobile phone bill. Here, phones are like $5 is more than enough to get your internet connection. And most people don't actually use the actual telephone as a telephone. They will just use an application like Telegram. It's similar to WhatsApp. Here you can retire and live so easily for when you're 55. In Thailand, it's actually 50 years old. In Thailand, it's a bit more complicated. You've got to show something like 800,000 baht, which is 20-something thousand American dollars in your Thai bank account. It's really complicated to do. You would need to go to an agent who would charge you a fee, but she will just look after you in Thailand wherever you go. If you go to the tourist areas like Jontium or Pattaya, there's loads to choose from. And I wouldn't know which one to go to. I would look at some other YouTubers, and they would tell you to go to Key or wherever it is, and they will show you on the map. Here, getting you could say an extension on your, like a retirement visa, it's called an ER. You just need to, if you're over 55, just go to any travel agent. You pay them, if you want the express service, $375, which is like $1 a day. Then maybe like a week, 10 days later. If it's not express, maybe it'll be 3 weeks later. It will be cheaper, and then bam, you've got your visa for another year. You can go in and out of the country. There's no police checks or anything. So this apartment, if you're to rent, definitely. But if you sort of like want to buy and you have the cash, you can sort of do some kind of mortgage. You would have to put down some kind of deposit. The interest rate would be like 1% per year. And after 10 years, that property, for example, could be yours. Yeah. With that, then now you've got an extra $300-500 to spend on your convenience. So this could be holidays or some more luxuries, or you could afford to buy a motorbike. I don't obviously know each and everyone's financial situation. Now, to buy, the basic rule of thumb here is, and in Thailand, you can't have a ground floor apartment, but you can have the first floor and you can buy it. The cost I would go for, if you can, 50 to 100K in American dollars. That's the sort of price range that you can get quite a nice apartment. If you're living alone, if you're living with a partner, you may need something bigger. The properties here in Siem Reap, there's so many choices. They're usually privately owned, and in Thailand, it's usually a company that would look after you. It does vary. Now, you can, in Thailand and here, own a house. Now, it's harder to do, but in Thailand, you would need to set up some kind of company. The actual realtor can actually do all this for you, which is, you would just have to pay maybe an extra fee. I'm not too sure. And there are certain places where they are allowed to. You just have to find out. But if you're retired, you've got all the time in the world to do it, and you really want to find out the area that you want to live in, and then you can own the title. The same in Thailand, but it's just a bit more complicated than renting. So basically, if you're happy with $500, let's say maximum, until you basically kick the bucket, then that's fine. But if you're happy and you know you want to live in that area, do consider to buy if you have the money, or you could have a deposit and pay it for 10 years. Then you have that extra money after that mortgage is over. You can get a mortgage for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but remember the interest rate. And if you don't make a payment, maybe they give you the grace of 1 month, but then afterwards, that's it. You're out. Go. So if you're renting, the same in Thailand, the same as here in Cambodia, you would pay a deposit, like a double deposit. So you may pay, if it's a $500 apartment, you would give them $1,500. At the end of your lease or your rent, you would get the $1,000 back, as long as there's not too much damage, fair wear and tear. It's the same as anywhere else in the world. You would be, to the landlord, he will charge you the electricity. You can in Thailand ask if it's the government rate, which is like 5 or 6 baht per kilowatt, or here for the standard one, if you're renting, is like 25 cents in American dollars with that one. So for the conversion between Thai baht and American dollars, $1 American is like 35 baht. And you would sign a contract for 6 months to a year. If you do 6 months, it may be a bit more. If you do it by a year, but there's so many choices. Don't rush into it. Just take your time. You can do it by yourself. You can, but there may be a translation problem there. If you do have a partner, then he or she can help you with that if they're local, or just go to a realtor. And if it's like 500 and then 100 for electric, maybe like $10 for water, possibly less, possibly more. It usually comes with a internet connection in Cambodia. It usually comes with cable TV. It usually comes, and a garbage collection as well. You don't have to pay any dues on top of that. So maybe you're looking at maximum like 620. It depends how much you have the air conditioning on, to be really honest with you. Basically, if you're coming and you're thinking of retiring in Southeast Asia, some of the places to go to would be, Thailand is usually the top hits. There's so many places like Pattaya, Jontium, Chiang Mai, and Phuket. Phuket is actually quite expensive, but you can search for a bargain. Again, I emphasize this and I repeat this. Go to the country first of all for 2 months, and go there, not on holiday, but like an investigation, to do a feasibility study and see, one, if you like the country, the food, the culture. Is it easier? Are you going to save money? Are you happier living in the sunshine 24/7? And if you have no commitments back in your country and your kids have grown up, and whatever the situation, then bam, you've got your place to live in the sun. It does rain, It's not always there. Sometimes it does get polluted. It's not all Shangri-La every single day of the year. And you don't go out every single night partying and drinking. You will wear yourself out and you'll probably have an early death by the age of 70 years old. That's sort of like a little joke, ha ha ha. So you can go out by all means, yeah, but don't do it every single night. You do it maybe once or twice a week, especially if you're on your own. You just don't want to sit in your apartment watching National Geographic or Netflix. Netflix is available, and what I pay for 4K is something like $10 a month. And then there you do have Amazon, you do have Apple TV. I don't think Hulu is here. It is a bit of a culture shock. So again, make sure you go to the country just on a tourist visa for a couple of months. If you love it, then you can start to make plans. And when you come back again in Thailand, you can just come on a tourist visa and the agent will take care of everything for you. But the price is a little bit expensive, but it's far better than doing it yourself. It's just going to be a pain in the backside. Here is a lot easier. The only difference is you would need to, on arrival, get a business visa or something called an ordinary visa. It costs $35. It's actually on the immigration form. Once you got that, you just go to any travel agent and they can transfer it to an ER visa, which is 1 month, 6 months, or a year. A year, what I pay is the express one because I can get it done within a week, and it costs $375. You can get it cheaper, but that's the convenience, because when you do live overseas, the most important thing in your collection is this: your passport. If you don't have this, then it becomes a nightmare. Why? Because you would have to go to the American embassy and you would have to get a police report. Then they will give you a temporary passport, which means you would have to fly all the way back to America to get your new passport in the passport office or immigration. Then you have to start the whole process again. So that's your most prized possession here and in Thailand as well. Bank accounts in both countries, you would need the right kind of visa status, so you can open one up. Again, here, once you got your retirement visa, for example, or the ER visa it's called here, then you can go to any bank like ABA in Bangkok. The actual agent will set this up for you because it's a catch-22 and they will do it again for you, saving time, but it's quite expensive. I think I waffled on long enough, and I hope that helps you between renting and buying in 2 different countries, Thailand and Cambodia. God bless. Thank you very much.